And hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode number 158 of the CheckX series. If you're new here, as I say every single day, the CheckX series is pretty much all about me, your host Ivan, discussing everything that Elon talks about on X the day before. Today we're going to discuss what he talked about yesterday on Wednesday, May 13th, 2026. He posted just around 68 times yesterday, and we are pretty much just going to get right into the episode here, not to waste your guys' time today. Starting off as we usually do, back to the normal, unlike the previous two episodes, with Tesla and FSD, or full self-driving, whatever you want to call it, as I say every day. Starting off this segment, Elon highlighted a story about a driver born without arms who uses FSD supervised as life-changing accessibility, noting it helps preserve freedom and mobility. Very cool. And also, Elon acknowledged reports of the Tesla Cybercab being spotted on the road in Miami. We're here. They made it. And shared positive comments from Florida Governor Ron DeSantis regarding FSD performance. Very, very cool, actually. But moving on to SpaceX and Starship development here. Starting off this segment, Elon emphasized that high-cycle, reliable engine reflight is as difficult as a rapidly reusable heat shield, noting that one heat shield failure could stall Starship's reusability for years. Literal years. So, it's definitely not easy to get that down, which hence why there's so many test flights that need to happen of the Starship. But to start off this segment, or moving on, Elon stated that SpaceX is currently outpacing the rest of the world in successful launches for 2026, and called his team the best ever in space. And also, Elon talked about the 12th flight test and it's targeted for May 19th, and will feature next generation vehicles and the evolved Raptor engine. Next generation being the version 3 version of Starship, so very cool there. And also, Elon revealed that Starship version 4 will be 15 to 20% larger than current versions, so it's going to be even bigger in size. I mean, it's just being lab grown at this point. That's wow, that's going to be interesting to see. But moving on, SpaceX is exploring several domestic and international locations, including potential to land in Louisiana to build advanced spaceports capable of thousands of flights per year. Very cool. And last but not least for this segment, finally, Elon shared that the Marmac 31 barge now has a cover and will transport super heavy boosters from Starship all the way to Cape Canaveral. Very cool. But moving on to Starship and connectivity. Starting off this segment, Elon celebrated the FCC approval for SpaceX to acquire spectrum for its next generation direct-to-phone Starlink mobile service, which aims to provide 5G speeds all the way from space. So very cool. And also, Elon highlighted that Gulf Air successfully launched its first flight featuring full internet connectivity via Starlink. I mean, the Starlink, the whole Starlink thing is spreading so fast in airlines, and that's simply because, in reality, Starlink is literally the most efficient thing on a plane. Because on a plane, you're 30,000, 40,000 feet in the air. So you are somewhere in between that range if you're on a commercial airliner. So you are already 30,000 to 40,000 feet closer to the Starlink satellites and to the satellites anyway, with pretty much no obstructions because the only thing above your plane is the sky at literally all times. So, it makes it better. And, because it's moving technically, well, obviously the Starlink satellites are moving so much faster, but still, because there's so many of them, it's able to make basically just a straight cover of these satellites that are very easy to connect to when you're already 40,000 feet in the air. So very, very cool. And last but not least, Elon noted that Starlink Mobile version 2 is arriving next year, will be a game changer for global connectivity as well. Moving on to XAI and Grok here, but to start off this segment, a new feature called Skills was introduced for Grok Web, allowing the AI to run code, edit files, and perform repeatable custom tasks within a sandbox environment. Also, Elon claimed Grok's new skills are significantly more powerful than competitors for real-time financial research, directly sourced from X. And last but not least, Elon reiterated that XAI aims to be maximally truthful, even if not politically correct, and claimed Grok Voice is the top performing agentic AI. So, I mean, kind of no surprise there. We've talked about that before. But moving on, and last but not least for this segment, or for this episode, talking about social, political, and economic issues. Obviously, politics always comes last here because it's boring. No, I'm joking, but starting off this segment, Elon expressed strong support for the return of Art Deco in modern building projects, and also Elon agreed that increasing housing supply is the only way to decrease costs, and argued that entrepreneurs get rich by making users unhappy, unlike politicians who often, making users happy, unlike politicians who often lack integrity. Moving on, Elon also reposted news regarding the rise of the AfD party in Germany. And also, Elon engaged with a long historical analysis comparing the fall of Rome's borders to the current U.S. or United States border issues, noting that borders fail when a civilization loses its cultural confidence, which is literally what's happening right now. I mean, it's borderline unironic, actually, if you think about it. Or no, it's borderline ironic, so other way around, because it's actually a serious matter. But moving on, last two things for the episode. Elon commented on Iceland's low crime rate despite high gun ownership, agreeing that the issue is not the guns themselves. Common sense. That just makes sense. I fully agree with that. And last but not least for the episode, ending off strong, Elon supported the idea that having children is a primary source of happiness and that parenting should be made cool again. And I think it is really cool. Again, appreciate your mom and dads. But, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, this pretty much wraps up episode number 158 of the CheckX series. If you made it all the way to the end, I appreciate you for watching. I recommend dropping a like, commenting, and subscribing if you haven't already. I also recommend going back and watching some of the other recent CheckX episodes just to get a nice little sequence of events going for you if you would like, based on what Elon says every single day, because at the end of the day, that's what this CheckX series is about. But I'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching. This is episode 158.